What is up, Honey Badger Nation? Man, welcome to episode 177 of Expert Mentors Live. I'm really excited for today's conversation. Have the one and only Miss Tricia Turner back on with us. Tricia, what's up?
Hi guys, super happy to be here. Love talking to John. You always get good energy.
I've heard that a lot lately, and I'm like, what is going on? Like, I don't feel any different. They're like, man, the energy's crazy, and I'm like, well, cool. We'll keep doing whatever we're doing.
Keep doing it. You know what it is? I think it's like there's just so much monotony in the world right now. It's like when we get around people that are like-minded, we feed off that. Like I need that big time.
Yeah. I mean, there's energy's contagious, and especially, the positive energy, because negative energy is just as contagious. And so it's super, super important. And who we allow ourselves to be around. We were kind of chatting about the prolific shirt, which is, from Nipsey Hussle's brand. And, I think about that, the inspirational quote all the time. And, the people in your circle don't inspire you. You don't have a circle, you have a cage. And so you look at that energy, I think is inspiring. It has to be. And because it becomes so contagious, and in a positive way or a negative way.
I'm going to say something about that very thing right there, because, as leaders, and I run a mega team here in Houston, in case you guys don't know. And so we're always churning. It's a constant churn. There's people coming in, there's people coming out. And, as everyone else knows, because of COVID, the real estate population is like ever growing. And so there's new agents coming in all the time. And so we talk to new agents here all the time, and we onboard new agents all the time. And we're not always going to find the ones that are like-minded like us, because as you know, we're pretty much 5%ers in the world. So we're hard to find. And so you're going to deal with your average agents a lot. And the goal is, of course, to groom them and help them be more. But when you get too many days in a row of that and being surrounded by that, it's frustrating and can become super frustrating. And so it's going to lead kind of right into what we're talking about, because mindset is everything, and getting your mind right first thing in the day. Because I have found myself the last few days frustrated. We do sales meetings here in the office, and some of the agents have made some comments that like one of the agents was going to relax because she's a newer agent, and so she got her first contract under closing in less than 90 days. So yay, that was awesome. And of course, in the market that we're in right now, you may be showing 40 houses before you actually get one. So it was one of those deals where it was a hard transaction to get to closing. And her reaction, I was like, yay, good job, great job. What are you going to commit to this week? We're doing commitments for the week. And she was like, that was really stressful. I'm thinking I'm going to take a little bit of downtime. And I was just like, oh my gosh, what are we doing? This is not what we do. But I was like, it was that mentality, we're like, how we are. We're like, right now, this market is insane. There's like no days off. You need to be continually filling your pipeline because it's tough. This is the year survival of the fittest. And it was just like that kind of comeback was hard for me to take and not emotionally respond to be, proactive. And I was thinking about this morning, I was like, I need to get away for a few days and get around like-minded people, because that stuff can penetrate if you allow it and you do not feed yourself in the morning. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's so critical. And, one of the books that had one of the most profound impact on me, to where I really shifted this whole thinking, and I know it's going to get into what we're going to talk about today, was the book from Tony Schwartz called The Power of Full Engagement. And within that book, what they found in their research working with professional tennis players, and how important it is to be on, recover, because you're in short bursts.
Yeah.
And just observing. I've never played tennis, but I just the, the observation of how you have to be on point, and then you get a second, you've got to recover, and then you got to be right back on point. And what they found, and then they took these same principles into the corporate world, was that for us to be operating at full engagement, on their concept of full engagement, is that you have to be at the peak of your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. And so that physical is, what are you doing daily to get stronger? What are you doing, mentally to put the right nutrients into your head every day? What are you doing to recharge the emotions? Cardio. What are you doing to align spiritually, which they refer to not as religion, but as to who you are at your core.
Mhm.
And it's not something, Tricia, and this is why I'm super excited for today's conversation, because it's not something that you just do once and you're done. It is a daily discipline to reset every day. So I'm excited to jump in. I know we're going to chat about, what we have to do around the body, mind and soul, and where we have to fall daily. So let's jump in.
You know what, John? I read a lot too, just like you do. And I think, and I was listening to something the other day, and I listen to podcasts every day too. And it's like, I was listening to a podcast the other day, and I think it was even Grant Cardone's that I was listening to. And he was talking about daily disciplines. And, he's in his 60s, and he's like, I don't feel like getting up and working out every day, but I also don't want to be fat. I don't want to be out of shape. The way that I portray my image, I like that. I want to look good. I want to feel good.
Yeah.
He's like, I also read every day. I don't like reading every day, but I have to do that because I got to grow my mind. And I was sitting there listening to that, thinking the very same thing. Like, I get up every day and work out. Do I feel like it every day? Of course not. Just like you. No.
Hell no.
But it's a discipline. It's like, I'm one of those people. It's like, if I said I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. So I'm not going to have to go through that motion of beating myself up because I said I was going to do something and then I didn't. So if I said I'm doing it, period. You can count on that.
Yeah.
And I think for so many people, they say it like commitments. We do our commitments here on Mondays, and it's like, okay, there's 3 things that you need to commit to this week. And then of course we refresh every Monday. Like, what did you do? What got in the way? And I'm finding that a lot of people lately are making these commitments and then they're not being accountable. They're not doing them. They may do 1 or 1.5. And it seems like the new norm is it's okay, and it's not okay.
Mm.
And this has become a real big challenge because we're not supposed to judge, and nobody can be like we are, and we're not going to find people that are wired like we are. But it's a hard thing because my expectations of people are like, do more, be more. How are you comfortable? How are you complacent? And I think that's the biggest challenge. And I'm thankful that I do have the daily disciplines that I do, because if I didn't, I would probably be like, I'm out of here. I mean, it's a lot easier to run a solo operation or a very small operation than a big organization, because you're dealing with people every single day who don't think like you, and you're trying to get them to think like you.
It is. What you were saying there made me think back of one of Darren Hardy's core beliefs, is that it's easier to stay in shape than to get in shape. And then that goes back to one of the mantras, the military mantras, and I know I'll butcher this. I'm not going to give the correct credit or say it the right way, but essentially it's, you don't have to get ready. We stay ready.
Yep.
And so I think that's so important. And I just kind of made a little mental note that, letting yourself off the hook and not checking all the boxes for all of the things that we have to do on a daily basis, to me, that's amateur behavior.
Yep.
And if you really, really want to be at an elite status, pro level status, your behaviors have to mirror that. You're not going to get elite pro status by doing bullshit amateur behavior. It just doesn't work that way. And
it doesn't. And I think that people are, and I'm probably making too much of a generalization, but I just find that as society keeps turning and years keep going by, we're getting lazier. fatter, lazier, more complacent. I don't know if just COVID, people just got used to sitting at home doing nothing and free money was given out to people, but it's like, I'm a hustler and I always have been. I got kids I got to feed. I got an organization I got to fund. And I tell people here, I'm like, if y'all haven't realized it, we're now in 2022. The real estate market is harder this year than it's ever been. You think last year was hard, and everybody talks about what a great year we had. And yeah, you did have a great year, and you can put a home on the market and sell it, over list price. Anybody can. But what you're going to find now is people are tired and they're weary. We still don't have an inventory. In fact, we have less inventory than we had last year. So, like, I had a conversation this morning with somebody. I was in a mastermind this morning, and I told him, here's what I know. And I'm the only real estate agent there. So I was kind of like filling them in on the real estate industry. I was like, if you look at the divide between the haves and the have-nots, the divide is huge and the middle ground is disintegrating. So the middle ground is those average agents that are a solo operation and they may sell 2, 3, 4 homes a year. They're leaving, they're gone because there's nothing to sell. And the mega teams, the haves, are coming in and gobbling up everything under the sun because we got an organization to run. We're going to outspend you. We're going to outwork you. We're going to outmarket you. We're going to outskill you. And so the consumer now expects that kind of experience, and they're seeing that preeminence that you're everywhere. And then the have-nots, unfortunately, are those agents that were in the middle and now they're trickling into that have-not. And it's no fault of anyone's other than laziness. And you got the pride and ego. I had an agent come in here yesterday. She's not on our team yet. I've talked to her several times about being on the team, and she's still in that mindset that she is trying to reinvent the wheel, right? And I was like, well, here's what I'm going to tell you. You can continue trying to reinvent the wheel like you are, or you can come with us where we're going to make it okay for you, because this is going to be the year of this. It's survival of the fittest this year. You are going to see a lot of people leave our industry. And with me, I'm like laser focused on helping them make sure they get through this year and make sure their mind is correct. But after we met with her, I came in here and I was talking to Paul, and he was like, I think she's almost there. And I was like, she's not. She's not in enough pain yet. She's not hungry enough yet. Her ego is still slapping her in the ass. And I said, until people are ready to put their ego aside and actually look at how am I going to get through this year and what is the evolution of the industry? Like, how do I get forward and be successful and live in abundance? It's crazy.
Yeah, it is. It is. And it's, with our work with Dan Kennedy a decade ago, right? He was even putting it out there, the Darwinian, thinning of the herd.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of time. And it's just what you said, it's the great separation. And had some feedback from Ferry's event in Vegas a month ago. And one of the things that he said, and this is the rich get richer, the bigger get bigger. And this is what he said. He said, you're just going to start to see more and more mega teams than you've ever have seen in your life. And it's just going to be, the teams that are coming together that are, continuing to grow. I mean, you've got one of them in your market with Andrew and what they're doing.
Yeah.
I have the opportunity to work with, the Perry Group out of Utah. They've got 100 agents on their team. And they ain't slowing down.
So that's our goal.
You're going to start to see more of that. And that's what Ferry was saying from stage. And so you have to see that and not fight it and understand that that's where it's going to go. And you are either committed to being a true expert advisor or you're not. The AFA is just going to get flushed out of the business.
Oh, yeah.
And that's a good thing. That's a really, really good thing. But I wanted to say one thing that you've been talking about since we started this conversation is getting back to what's within your control. And, I'm a huge Ryan Holiday fan. The ego, the obstacle is the way, ego is the enemy, stillness is the key. And all about stoicism. And, I've got my daily stoic that I've had ever since it came out. I don't even know when the book, when it ever came out, but I read it every day.
It's wisdom.
And what the Stoics have always said is that we only have control over one thing, and that's our mindset. That's the only thing we have control over. Nothing else. There's nothing else we have control over.
Mm-mm.
just our mindset. And so let's really kind of jump into a couple of the key points that I know you want to share
Yeah.
around why this is so important if you really want to, create that life and live life on intention and on
Yep.
your schedule, not
On
somebody
purpose.
else's.
On purpose. Here's what I know. And like last year, I tell everybody, or I have been telling everybody, I did a lot of soul searching last year. So I'm very regimented. I think I'm one of the most self disciplined people I've ever met in my whole life. And again, I had my own independent brokerage. I've managed agents for years now. And there was 50 of them at once. Now we have probably, once now that we're a mega team, I think we have 23 on our team now. And so it's a constant every day. You're always leading people. I've also been a single mom for years. So it's like, I'm always leading people. I'm always leading by example. I'm always expected to be held to a higher standard. And I embrace that. And like I've said for years, I raised my hand and I said I would do this. And so it's like, if I don't do that, then who do they follow? But
Yeah.
last year was a really odd year for me because in our organization here, and I had done it wrong. I had built the team wrong and I had allowed people into the organization that shouldn't have been in, and they weren't in alignment and they didn't really embrace the core values. And I let things go and I let things ride, and not intentionally, but because I didn't have the right hand person helping me. So it was like I was trying to do it all by myself and I couldn't. And so you find like I'm going to pick my battles then. Well, what are my battles? Like what are we going to do? And at that point it was like I'm just going to kind of let this run on autopilot because again, I'm still in production. So it's like I can't do everything. But then when I read that book Rocket Fuel and I read that 2 years ago, and I was like, I'm the visionary. I got to find an integrator. I got to figure this out. And so when I found that integrator mid-year last year, it just changed everything. And it changed everything that we did here within the organization. Because then I had support. I had someone that was going to back up all this crap that was going on. And in a matter of like 60 days, once we got systems all in place and he built all this stuff out, there was 9 agents that left. And the first one that left was what I thought was a friend of mine. And that hurt. It was one of those that hurt because it was like she left for no reason other than we were putting more order and the daily huddle was expected with your video. They were being held accountable. And these things are expected. And if you can't do this and honor our expectations of the team, then you shouldn't be on the team. And so she was the first one that left. And it was like cancer. It was like, then the next week, another one, because she had talked to them. And then the next week, another one. And these were all the first 5 were people that I thought were friends. And I was like, wow, I can't even believe. I was really shocked by it. And it hurt. It definitely hurt. And then the next 4 were like, okay, I just pretty much expected that. Then at that point, as soon as I would get a text, hey, can we talk? I was like, oh, here goes another one. And it went on for 60 days. And it
Mm.
was like, wow, now after going through all of that, now it's like nothing to me. I laugh it off. But going through all of that, it made me do like a lot of soul searching and really getting tougher and deeper with what do I want my life to look like. And then I got COVID in August, right after build. A bunch of us all got sick, and so I ended up getting super sick. I was great for like 10 days. I didn't even feel that bad, and we turned my house into an office, and we all just worked out of my house. But then, like the last 2 days, I ended up with double pneumonia, and I ended up with one of those super sick ones. And during that time, I just started thinking a lot about. I mean, I'm hustling and I'm grinding every day, and sometimes I'm spending
Yep.
days with people I don't care about, and they don't respect what we're building here, and they don't see the vision. And so I just spent really like the last quarter of last year deciding on what do I want my life to look like? Who do I want to be in my life? Who do I not want to be in my life? And I had allowed myself to become more lax on my daily disciplines, not my working out, but my other reading. So was I reading every day? No. Sometimes I'd skip a couple of days and let work get in my way or check my email when I knew I shouldn't have because I wasn't ready. And so I really just decided, you know what, from here on out, 2022 and beyond, it's going to be about building a life on purpose. And I've got my kids. My oldest is 24 years old. He's in the organization now. He's a slayer. He is going to outproduce everybody. He's going to outproduce me. And I'm so happy about that. But it's like he tells me all the time, I want to be like you, mom. I want to do what you do. And because you inspire me every day. And I tell him, you know what? You saying that like makes me want to do more and be more, because I want you to be
Mm.
more than me. But at the same time, John, in our meetings, because he's in our sales meetings, he is holding me accountable. And he is the one that's made me realize a lot of this, because he sees how some of the other agents are. If their phones are open during sales meetings, their laptops, pecking away on a laptop, which is not allowed. He'll say after the meeting, he'll call me in the office and he'll be like, I'm a little bit disappointed in you, Mom, because there was a couple agents in there that weren't respecting the team rules and you didn't call them out. And I'm expecting you to hold them to a higher standard, because if you don't, then I'm disappointed in you and I don't want to be in that environment. And it's like, whoa, deep on me there, you know? And so I'm
Yeah.
having to, John, which is like, I'm not going to disappoint him at all. And so if he's voicing that to me, others are thinking that. And it makes you be more aware of, this is serious and I got to get more laser focused. And so honed in back on my daily disciplines, it's like, you know what? There are no, especially this year, there's no room for disappointment. There's no room for us to be lax at all. Like, I got a huge vision and we got to go there. I can't let that negativity of others penetrate, period.
Not at all. Yeah,
No.
you gotta know what those boundaries are and what's really important. So for you, kind of having that time to, forced, forced to pause. It's our bodies tend to tell us what we need,
Yeah.
and so sometimes even like getting sick like that, and making us slow down and really start to see what's important. It's the whole you're leaving for a trip concept,
Yeah.
and how much you get done because you get done with what's most important, and you make decisions faster by sometimes being forced into that. So what for you do you kind of reflect back on to stay reminded that this is the most important? And does that fall, like you said, does that fall into the daily routines? Is it more of a routine? Is it a ritual? Like how do you go about kind of making sure that you're checking those boxes to what you need to do on a daily basis?
For me, I've been doing real estate forever, so I don't really focus a lot on trying to learn how to sell more houses. I got that down, or how to talk to. I got all that down. I think for me and for most people, especially in leadership positions, that it's about mindset. Because when you go through challenges and you go through difficulties, the confused mind, number one, says no. And so as soon as you allow chaos in your mind, it brings on confusion. You're like, no, I don't want to do
Yeah.
this. No, I don't want to get up and fight these people today. No, I don't want to deal with these assholes today. And so it's like you have to get laser focused on what are you going to allow in? And I tell people this all the time. I'm like, for a while there, Joel Osteen talks about this a lot. Like, these ships go out to sea and they're steered just by control. It's this huge, massive, heavy ship with people and tons of weight on this ship, and it's fine. It steers the course as long as no water gets in, as long as nothing penetrates it. And you think about that ship. The minute it goes out there, if there's a crack, even the slightest crack, and water just starts to seep in, it doesn't take long, and that ship's moving, that ship's tilting, and that ship ends up sinking eventually. Our bodies are the same. It's like once we get that crack and we allow that little bit of negativity in there, that comment, that ugly comment, that thing somebody did that you allow to get in because your mind wasn't right, that stuff wallows in you. It can sit in there. And it's like, and I believe that if I do not get up every day and put on this, shield of armor every single day, and my hat and everything, that I'll allow that stuff to get in. And then what? Then walk away. Because here's what I do know. If, like someone said it the other day too, they're like, you have to have a plan A and no plan B. Because if I've got a plan B, like, well, if this doesn't work out, if I don't get to build this big organization that we're building, I can always do this. No. Because if I'm always thinking about this plan B, that's like an escape route. And I'm not going there. Like, I'm all in. And I believe with my son calling me out like he has, it's made me get even more crystal clear on, well, what does that look like? And I'm studying the market and I'm looking at everything and I'm like, okay, the easy way out, the complacent way out is because I can produce income all day long. I don't need to build this big organization. However, I do know that the real estate industry is disruptive. And I do know that to leave a legacy and to create this organization for my family and this big family business, the only way to do it successfully is to build the numbers, is to build it big and big and big. And it's a daily hustle and it's a daily grind. But if I don't do it, then it all collapses and it falls. And then what have I worked all these years to build? And
Yeah.
so for me, it's getting up. For me, honestly, it's not sleeping very much. And that's the weirdest thing. I don't sleep very much. And I find that if I sleep 3 or 4 hours, that's my sweet spot. So I go to bed most times between 11:30 and 12:30. And then I'm up at 3:45 in the morning. And it's like everyone around here, the agents, all of them know me. They're like, they think I'm robotic because it's weird. I'll get like 2 hours of sleep. And it doesn't really matter if we go to Vegas and we go out, as long as I get like that 2 hours of solid sleep, I'm up like nothing. It's the weirdest thing. And so I'm up at 3:45. And I tell people, it's like, I need that time and before the world is awake, where I'm by
Yeah.
myself and I can focus on. I listen to a couple of songs to get my mind racing while I'm drinking my water, my pre-workout, and then it's an hour of working out where it's like I got to get my heart racing, I got to get stronger, and then it's an hour of reading after that. And so it's for me, it's like I'm feeding my mind, body, and soul on all levels. And then I don't stop there. Then after I get out of the shower, it takes me another hour to get ready. It's an hour of podcasts, or I'm listening to an audible. So it never stops. So it's 3 hours in the mornings, basically, of feeding my mind, body, and soul. And on days I don't do that and I don't force myself to stick to that schedule, that's when I find myself weakening. And that's the hardest thing, John, is to do it every day. And then the harder thing is to not judge others when they don't have those same disciplines. That's my biggest challenge right now. That's hard.
Mm. And for everybody's, it's different, right? Based upon what it is you're trying to accomplish. But I think it's making sure that these happen. What I used to be, like I had to do certain things or they wouldn't happen. And I was like, man, that's more, as long as it happens for me. And so like last night, I'm a morning workout guy as well, but I've also had to focus on more sleep, and just because of what we're doing on the endurance side and how far we're trying to push, I have to have more sleep. And so it's taken away from some of those earlier morning workout sessions. So it's like last night, I mean, I didn't get on the bike until almost 9 o'clock last night.
Wow.
So, but guess what? It happened. It damn sure happened.
Were you beating yourself up about it?
No, I used to. I don't anymore. I used to. I don't anymore. So like this morning, I slept in. Zane's late day today, so I slept in. I didn't get up till about 7 this morning, and but I know I'm going to go get a run in, this evening, and I'm not worried about it. I just know it's going to happen, and I think that's the important thing. Like you're like, shit, I missed that this morning, and you beat yourself up. It doesn't matter. One of the things that you said earlier that really kind of has been in my mind for the last couple of years, conversation I had with Holly back almost pre-pandemic. It was, we were heading into 20 and we were starting to slide right into March. So it's been 2 years ago, pretty much to the day, as we're coming up on the 2-year mark of where shit went crazy. This is the most transparent time in history. And it's becoming more and more and more transparent. In the days of fake it till you make it, those days are long gone. Everything gets exposed. And that's even a lesson for ourselves, I mean, we all have messes, but we also have to keep in mind. And, I've got a great reminder, as you do too, with your kiddos. My kids are on social media.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so, I get the little reminder of, hey, remember your kids are on social media. Be real careful with what you're putting out there. And I mean, you still got to be you.
Yeah.
But it's still one of those things, Tricia, to where there's no more days of where you can, fake it completely, because you're just going to be exposed over time. And so, committing to these things, time will tell if you're really doing it. It's just a matter of time.
Oh, it always comes out.
It always comes out. But what will happen is, like you said, is that we're seeing such a divide that those that stay consistent with this over time, like Joe Rogan just didn't wake up and establish the best platform podcast on the planet and get and cash in, 100, 200 million, whatever it was. How many years was he having conversations with his buddies?
Yep. Daily, I'm sure. And no one knew about it. And I tell people all the time, I'm like, and again, because of this great divide, like it's all about your choices. Who are you going to pay attention to? And I tell people all the time, you need to pay attention to who you're paying attention to, because I'm not going to be part of that middle ground ever that's disintegrating. I've had to take care of my kids. I've been a single mom for years, and I've never had to help with them financially or anything. And I've got 3 of them. One is special needs. And so it's been on me this whole time. Has it been hard? Heck yes, it's been freaking hard. But now they're all part of the company. My daughter is 19. She runs the staging company. And I had a conversation with her 2 nights ago, and she was crying actually, because she was like, kind of lost, because she's going to college too, and she thought she wanted to get a degree, and I told her to look, here's what I'm going to tell you. If you want a degree, I'm going to support that 1000%. We have a family business. It will always be here for you. There's always a place for you, but you got to do what makes you happy, and you have to do what feeds your soul. And she told me that night, she was like, I want you to know that I'm so proud of you. Like, we watch how hard you work, and you get up. She said, all my friends freak out because you get up at 3:45 in the morning. Like, your mom's crazy. And she goes, but I'm like so proud of you and your work ethic. She said, I hope that I can be just like you someday. And when you hear that, and then with my son calling me out and trying to do the things that I do here in the office, it's like, you think you're not making a difference, but you are. And so that stuff fuels you, because when you look at social media and so many people, and I tell people this, I'm like, when you get up in the morning, I mean, yeah, like for me, my phone is my alarm clock. And I set it far away, so I got to get out of my bed to go get it. But that's the only time I grab it. It's out of my bed in my hands. As soon as I hit it off, I put on 2 songs, and then I'm done with the phone. I don't want to have anything to do with that phone. And most people, unfortunately, they get up and the first thing they hit is Instagram or YouTube or Facebook or their email, and they're not ready for that yet. So instead, they're looking at Instagram, and somebody got a new car, or somebody got a new job, or somebody got new boobs, or whatever. And they're looking, going, dang, their life's great and my life sucks. And it's like, first of all, half the stuff people are posting is fake.
Not even true.
Fake ass crap. Right. And secondly, it's like, get into gratitude, because like I'm a big reader, like, and so I've been really laser focused on, like, we are high achievers. And the gap in the gain, this, it really made things crystal clear for me, because we were those high achievers where it's like never satisfied. Like, you just had this big accomplishment and you reached your goals, but like I know you're the same way. You look at it, you really don't even recognize it, because it's like, next. Like, I'm not done. Next. There's always next. So it's like, you don't ever just stop and be like, wow, that was like a huge accomplishment, and I should sit and be proud of that. Instead, we're looking at the next challenge. And so for me, I've really had to like stop. Like, what am I grateful for? And the simple things, like going to bed at night and having those 3 things, like, what were 3 wins today? And acknowledging that, spending more time in gratitude. And the other night, the same night, my daughter and I had this conversation. I sat at my kitchen table with my oldest son and his new wife, and they're having a baby in 2 months. And then my daughter and her boyfriend, and they all live with me. And then my other son. So we're all like roommates. So we have the coolest household ever, because we're best friends. And so we do everything together. We hang out together. And we were just sitting there like talking for 2 hours. And I went to bed that night like so fulfilled, because I do have the coolest kids ever in my world, and they love me and I love them. And to go to bed like that was a huge win. And I told my oldest son, I was like, in this book I'm reading, it says you really need to dig deep in your soul, which I've been doing, and figure out, like, if you're building a life on purpose, what does that look like? What defines how you want, what do you do? What do you aspire to be? Like, if you could think of 3 words, what would those 3 words be that you would say describe you or describe your life? And then when you come up with those 3 words, you're supposed to set reminders on your phone, because our days get chaotic. We're putting out fires all day long, or people are irritating us, or we may feel tired or weak or weary. And so you set reminders on your phone at times because you know how your body works, and you know when you're going to go into a lull. And mine goes off. I have 5 that go on. 5 that go off. And so for me, I'm a high energy person. I'm very positive. I believe that the glass is always overflowing. I live in la la land, they say, and I'm fine there. I like it better there. But
Mhm.
I do a huddle every morning at 8:30 with our agents. And so at 8:28, I have an alarm that goes off and it says, bring the joy, because it's a reminder that I make it on this huddle, and some of them may say something, or they may have this resting bitch face, and then it's just like, oh, I don't want to even deal with this right now. But bring the joy. It's like, that's what part of what we're supposed to do every day. And then I put my 3 words that inspire, or what I aspire to be: excited, fulfilled, and peaceful. That's what I want to say are the 3 things about my life. I want to get up every day and be excited, peaceful, and fulfilled. Peaceful means no drama. Like, I'm at peace with everything that I'm doing. I'm not beating myself up. I'm picking the right battles. I'm moving forward every day, doing the right things in the right order to reach my vision. I'm excited. Like, I never want to be around people that suck the life out of you. And so I'm excited. I want to bring the excitement, and I want to be fulfilled. And fulfilled for me, it's like, I had to like really figure out what is fulfilling to me. What do I like to do? And you and I have talked about this a lot, and you've coached me on this a ton. It's like, you got to sit down and define, well, what do you like doing? What are you good
Mhm.
at? What do you like doing? Let's define like a perfect day. If you had to outline a perfect day, what does that look like? And then what is a perfect week supposed to look like? And then a perfect month, and then your life, and then your year, and then 10 years. And it's like, when you do that and go through that whole exercise and go deep, that's what you find is fulfilling to your soul. And so I've got alarms that go off pretty much every 3 to 4 hours. And then all it is an alarm. It sounds, and those 3 words are right there. And it just stops you in your tracks for a minute. And you're like, oh yeah, like, am I uneasy right now? Am I doing something that's not fulfilling? It's a reminder to build that life on purpose, because I think there's so many people in this world, especially with social media, and just people are, there's a lot. I'm not saying anything about coaches, because I think you're an amazing coach, but there are a lot of people out there that are coaches and life coaches and real estate coaches. It's like, they haven't done anything worthy of success, but they're trying to lead others. And it's like, hold on a second here. People are getting taken advantage of. People are all getting led down the wrong paths. And I think when you get the right mindset and you get the right people together, then the more we can get out there and lead others to be fulfilled and to be peaceful and excited. And find your 3 words. What are they? And then every day aspire to do these things that bring you that stuff. And that for me has been super critical. And I just started it like a month ago, and it came from a book. I'm reading another book about high achievers and mindset. And again, it's getting that mindset crystal clear all day long, not just in the morning. It's in the morning, you're feeding your mind, body, and soul, but you got to have that reminder going off every 3 and 4 hours. Are you at peace? Are you excited? Are you being fulfilled? Are you doing what makes you happy? And I think people, unfortunately, they don't. They never sit down. A lot of people want to keep up with the Joneses. A lot of people do things, we're very blessed to we get up every day and do what we love, but a lot of people don't. And it's like, you know what? Have you ever thought about, what do you love? What brings
Mhm.
you peace and what fulfills your soul? And when you find those things, and like, those are my 3 words, but everybody has their own different words. But I think everybody should take that time, and it's a deep exercise, and figure out, what does my perfect life need to look like? And then only 3 words. If I could come up with only 3 words that would define and describe what I want my perfect life to be, what are they? And then set your reminders. It's been huge, John. You got to do it.
Those three things, I mean, they sound, more aspirational, things that you want to, move your life, towards,
Yeah.
instead of, something that you are at your core, right?
Yeah.
So we talk a lot about, our core values, our shoulds and should nots, our behaviors that drive our vision. And we're looking to surround ourselves with people that have the same values that we value. But the 3 things that I'm hearing, is more of to keep you on the path of the life that you want to live on purpose.
Yep.
And you need those constant reminders, because those are things that you're always aspiring towards. And as humans, right, we need to be reminded more than we need to be told. So the exercise is brilliant
It
to
is.
have those reminders in there at all times. And so I think, I mean, I really, really love that. It just, I have this belief. There's only one thing that's easier than getting a real estate license, and that's saying you're a coach. And so
I
I'm
believe
like,
that too.
I'm definitely on. I've got some stuff in the works. We're definitely on a mission to challenge
like that.
that. So I'm super excited for what's going to be coming in a couple months. But back to those things, um, because we are, feeling creatures.
Mhm.
Although our feelings are driven by our beliefs, which are
Yep.
just a collection of our thoughts, and our thinking is driven by our circumstance and our environment. and so that's why environment is so important. But I want people to understand that you can be in a shitty situation, but you can control the environment. So think about all of the amazing um, um, humans that have, like, wrongfully or not, that have gone into incarceration, that come out completely different
Yeah.
because they didn't allow the situation to control their environment. Instead, they chose to consume, to read, to they designed within that defined place that they were at, but they chose not to live there. And that goes back to the Stoic way of, the only thing you're in control of is your mindset.
Yep.
And so are you doing everything to protect that at the highest of levels? Because then that changes your thinking and then leads to the way you feel. Do you, it's just like you said, I mean, I'm sure, like you said, there's mornings you probably don't feel like getting up at
For
3:45.
sure.
There's mornings that I don't want to get up. There's mornings that I don't want to get on the bike. There's
Oh
mornings that
yeah.
I do not want to go for a run. But do you feel that the reminders on what it is that you want helps you continue to stay the course, especially in the moments that you don't want to?
I do. 1000%. And I'm going to say something personal here that I haven't said publicly at all, but I'm just going to go there because it's part of why I'm doing what I'm doing and what led to this. So I'm going through a divorce right now, we've been separated since October, and I'm happy. I initiated it. I'm happy about it. It's great, and we've been together for years. However, with all that soul searching that I did last year, it's like we were not in alignment. We hadn't been in alignment. He is and he's great person, great for someone else. He nothing, not for me, but he's one of those that's very complacent, can get up and work the same job every day and go start at the same time, not get up and work out every day, not never really involved in self-development, just a wage earner, always just, a follower, total follower. And for a while, because I just kind of run my own race, it didn't really bother me. It was like he was great with my kids, and that didn't really bother me. But last year, and it's really been bothering me for the last 3 years, but last year it became crystal clear because it was like, I want to change the world. I want to make a difference in this world. And I would find myself coming home at night and not being peaceful and not fulfilled. It'd be like the life was sucked out of me because it'd be like the same image every time I come home. And it was just small talk. It was just not fulfilling at all, at all. And it went on for a long time. And when I got COVID, we were separated for 2 weeks because he didn't get it. And so I was like happy. It was like a breath of fresh air. I was totally able to do my own thing. And I thought, you know what? Why am I living like this? Why am I living with somebody that doesn't inspire me? And we're not changing the world together. I'm out there changing the world by myself every day, and then I'm coming home at night, and I'm like, I don't want to be here. And it's like we get one shot on this earth to do what we're going to do, to make our mark, whatever that may be. Why in the world are we going to waste one even day? You're not guaranteed it tomorrow. You're not guaranteed another hour. Why are you wasting one? And it became crystal clear. And so he literally was the first person that I removed from my life because I thought, I'm in control of this situation and I'm not happy here. And
Mm.
I'm sorry that I'm hurting you, but at the end of the day, I'm in charge of my own happiness. And if I want to go out there and change the world, I'm either going to do it by myself or I'm going to find somebody that wants to change the world with me. And I believe there's strength in numbers, but you can't drag people along with you, especially if they don't want to go. And so removing that element from my life literally strengthened me like crazy because that was a big decision for me. I don't like to hurt people, but you know what? I said, for once in my life, I'm going to put my heart first and my vision first, and I'm not going to worry about what other people think and say. And that, John, has been a game changer, because now it transformed into the office where agents come in, and if they're not doing what they said they were going to do, or they don't believe in our core values, or they want to leave, I'm like, bye. I know our value. I know what we bring to the table. I know there's no better place here locally for anybody to be but with us. I know my vision, and I know we'll get there, because I always get to where I say I'm going to go. And I'm not going to let anybody hold me back, and I'm not going to drag dead weight around. We're going regardless of what you want to think, say, or believe. We're going. You can either go with us or you can get lost. I could care less. And I'm not going to spend another minute of my days with people I don't like, people that don't like me, or people that are fake. And for me, it's been a game changer, John. And that gives me peace. It makes me excited, and it helps me be fulfilled, because I was in a meeting this morning, this mastermind I was at, and one of the guys, he sells health insurance and he runs a big business. And his topic was, what's your exit strategy? And he's older than me. And so many people, when they get to like in their 60s and stuff like that, they think about retiring. And I think that's where he was going with it. It's like, I don't ever want to retire. Like, I'm never going to stop. Oh, do I want to stop going on listing appointments? Oh, absolutely. Because I want to go change the world. I want to go speak in front of teenage girls that have been abused and are in homes, and let them know, you know what, you can get through this. Because I left home at 17. I was a runaway. I did drugs. I did everything under the sun. And look what I was able to accomplish, and all by myself, and raising 3 kids. And it's like, if I can do it, anybody can do it. And when you really go into your soul and figure out, what is it you really want to do? Like, I'm never going to get out of real estate. I just want to build this big empire for my kids to be involved in, and agents to grow and sell thousands of houses. But I also want to help change the world. And I think because of COVID, as crappy as it is, it changed my life and my mentality for the better. And I am now stronger than I've ever been, mentally, physically, everything.
That's so amazing. It is. And thank you for sharing that. And, one of the things, it's just kind of this concept of, are you living a compliant life, or you live in a committed life?
Yes.
And so, are just compliant to the situation. And that's tends to be a lot of employees, right? They come in and they're just kind of committed. I mean, not committed, but compliant to what it is that they need to do. There's no passion. There's no drive. They're not committed to the bigger cause. And sometimes when there's no cause, so how can they get committed when they don't know what the vision is, what the big picture of the organization is? So, for you as a leader, for all the leaders listening in that have organizations or building organizations or thinking about building their own whatever, you've got to make sure that it's commitment worthy. That's where you have to get to. Is this worthy of commitment from you? Mm-hmm. And is it worthy to inspire those that would want to get committed to be a part of that journey as well? And the situation that you just kind of described, it felt like it was just kind of compliant. And and the thing, and this goes back to the core values. And when you have team members that are not aligned to the values that are there for whatever, most of the time they're default. So they're there. They're not committed. No. They're there. They're just being compliant to whatever standard you hold them to.
Yep.
And so most of the time they're miserable.
Yes.
And so when you're able to, free up their future, that allows them to hopefully find what is worthy of commitment to them. But most people that aren't willing to do the things that we're talking about today will always live a compliant life. They'll never live a committed life because they don't find something that lights their mind, their body, their soul with a purpose.
Yep.
And I think that's, my takeaway from the conversation today is around those things, right? Are you, just compliant, or are you committed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And John, here's another thing. Committed, it means so many different things. Like, are you committed to to growing. Like every day, that your biggest thing that you should be working on every day is yourself. Like I'm every day, I want to be, I'm never in the best shape. I'm never going to be satisfied there. My mind is never the smartest. I'm never where I want to be ever. And that's the way that you should be. But as I look at like everything I want to do and everything that's moving forward, I am committed though to being at peace, because we can't change everybody and we're not for everybody. And so if there's people that come in and we're not in alignment and they don't see it, I have to be at peace letting them go. And I have to be at peace letting people out of my personal life too. And I am. And that, and let me tell you, is that brings me great fulfillment, because a lot of times, we can beat ourselves up, or why don't they see the value and why don't they do what they said they were going to do? And it's like, why even go there? Like, who cares? You can't change people. You can only change, like you said in the very beginning, you can only change yourself. So why even give that any energy? I'm not giving that even a moment's time in my mind. Like, it's out. You don't see it. Okay, bye. We're not in alignment. Okay, bye. Leave. It is what it is. I can't change you. And I'm not going to beg you to be part of us. I'm not going to beg you to be in my life. I don't care. I know what I'm doing, where I'm going, and if who I'm doing it with, and we're going to be friends. And it's like, I think when you get crystal clear on that, oh, it's amazing. And it gives you strength, because now it's like, do I still get weary? Yeah. Do I still get irritated? Of course. That's normal. We're going to have the daily irritations every single day. However, I have to keep myself in check with my daily reminders that go off every single day, and reading in the morning that, look, I raised my hand and I said I was going to change the world. I said I'm going to leave a mark for my kids. Now, I especially got them daily reminding me of what a role model I really am in their life. Then it's my responsibility to do what I said I was going to do. And I think if more people would step up and do that and take that responsibility on, we'd have a way better world, and we'd have a lot more people that were leading instead of following. But I'm just thankful for our organization that we have each other, because you have made such an impact in my life, and you change lives every day and you don't even realize it. You're just an amazing person. You have you're just like a rock. You are.
What is Reese? Reese, I'm the oak.
You are. And it's awesome though. And you lead by example. I lead by example. And that's what's expected of us, because we said that we were going to. And people that know us know that. They know what you said is true. What I said is true. There's no BS about it. This is what I said. This is what we're doing. Period. Yeah. No questions.
And I'm not even close to having it all figured out.
Oh, no.
Everybody has a mess, and you look at, dumping it into the three buckets of, health, wealth, and relationships. We all struggle to maintain peak at all of those. And sometimes it's not focusing in on those daily. Sometimes we need daily reminders in all three, right? So we talked about, the physical, your health. We talked about the things that we need to do in our business, but sometimes, we lose out on the relationship side, and, things are a mess. That's where my mess is in relationships, because it tends to happen when you put too much energy in two of the three buckets and not trying to grow in all three.
Absolutely.
And, I've been reminded here lately, had a gentleman, he wasn't talking to me, but it was one of the things like, oh, he was talking to me.
Yeah, it resonated.
And he was making a point to these two other guys. And he was like, hey, how much money did you spend on your business coach last year? How much money did you spend at the gym and on nutrition and on your personal trainer? How much money did you spend on your relationship coach? And they all looked at him and like, we ain't got no damn relationship coach. And he goes, that's my point exactly. You're willing to spend all of this money on helping your, that health bucket and that business bucket, but you ain't making no investment on the relationship bucket. And I was like, motherfucker, you talking right at me, aren't you? And so I was like, it was like,
you own that one?
Own it, because, everything takes focus. Everything takes work. If you want it to improve, it's not going to get better, right? If you believe that you're either growing or dying, and if you're not making the investment to grow every day, then what are you doing?
Yep.
And author Robert Greene, Holiday inspired him to do the daily mastery. So 48 Laws of Power. He did the co-author book with 50 on the 50th law. He wrote
Okay.
Mastery. And what he talks about is that on our way to mastery, you're either doing the things daily, in the second that you give your mind the ability to breathe, decay starts to happen. That's why the number one thing, the only thing within our control is our mindset. And what are we doing to feed our mind every day? Because the second you don't do it, it starts to decay. One day it starts to decay. And it's one of the most important things, whatever it is, that purpose, whatever that life that you want to design, that you want to build, it's up to you.
But I think
Yeah.
people have to figure it out, John. And I think people, like you just said, being compliant, they just go through the daily, every day is the same. It's like Groundhog Day. It's like, are you fulfilled? Do you go to bed every night like peaceful? Are you fulfilled? Did you do anything that day that made you happy and
Yeah.
exciting? Are you excited about anything? Like I was telling my kids, like, I'm not going to go at the end of the day, at the end of my life, go off to heaven and be like, well, that life sucked. I spent the last 40 years doing shit I didn't like to do and with people I didn't like. Why? Why? Like, change it. And
Yeah.
it's so crazy that people live in this unhappiness in all things, work, relationships, life. Why? We can
Yeah.
make changes. We can. It's up to us. Period.
Yeah. I have a couple reminders with that. One is, what Gary Vee has always talked about, when he was growing up, spending time with the older generations, and it was always regret, right? That was always their stories.
Yeah.
It was always more conversations around regret, what I didn't do, instead of the celebration of what we did do.
Yeah.
And, I've had that quote, for probably the last 5 years. One of our buddies posted it on Facebook one day, and it's something that I look at all the time. And it's, on the last day, the definition of hell, right? On the last day, you're introduced to the person that you could have become. And my favorite part of David Goggins' book, is the very last, 2 minutes, to where he talks about that. And he said, I'm going to show up, and that dude that's going to come out thinks he's better than me is going to be crushed. I'm going to take control because I'm better than he ever thought. And so that's taking it to another level, which is Goggins. And I'm like, yeah, we all make mistakes. We all have things that we wish we didn't do, but are you learning from it, or are you going to let it be, your story when you're, 87 years old, talking to your grandkids and your great grandkids? What do you want it to be?
And again, that's being purposeful, intentional.
Yeah.
Why are you doing that? Like, do you have a plan? What are you doing? And so many people don't, John.
No, I don't. Tricia, I love all of our conversations. We get to go deep.
We do. Makes you think, doesn't it?
And it's truly inspiring. And I appreciate you. Appreciate what you're doing out there, not only with your team, with your family, with your relationships, but also what you're doing with the community, and the community at large, not only there in your local market, but the industry and other industries as a whole. And so thank you for being a true expert mentor. This is what these conversations are all about, is just adding value, creating awareness, and hopefully people are making, the choice to live a full life on purpose.
Me too. Thank you for having me, John.
Awesome. Thank you. See you guys.